have the Ducati Street Fighter V4s in this absolutely stunning red. I've ridden this bike on track once before, and to be honest, it feels completely different. I didn't have to stop at any point really when I was on track. I had a lot of assistance, and to me the bike just feels, yeah, just a little different. So we'll start off with the way it looks. I mean, I can't really say much about it because it just looks absolutely friggin' awesome. What I love about this bike is the fact that, just the same as the Monster SP, is it has the little red bits. I really like that. So as I said in my previous video, as you're going along, it just flickers like a nice bit of red on the wheel. You have these wings here, as you all know, and I like them. There's a lot of people that don't really like them, but I don't know, they serve a purpose, so they'll do. It's a pretty tall bike. I'll put up on the screen how tall it actually is, and I believe you can get a lowered seat as well. We have a Öhlins steering damper on the front here, Öhlins front and rear. As you change the rider mode, they do electronically adjust. I nearly went wrong there. We have some gold stanchions as well on the front. Forks. I'm not a great fan of the indicators, so when I was filming with the 360, I generally thought it was like the curvature of the 360 camera, but then I've come out and I've noticed that they do have a general curve to them, so I kind of think that looks a little strange.
The indicators I'm sort of warming to now. They were a bit of a strange shape to me to begin with, but now I kind of like them. I think they do serve a purpose. Them sort of coming in at an angle, I guess, so the people coming from this direction can see your indicator. I don't know, I'm just making that up.
The indicators are in the correct place, unlike a particular bike I've ridden. I do have to say, although it states that it's got heated grips, which would be nice for November, but it doesn't. It has a nice little button there that doesn't do anything, which we love. But you can get heated grips as an extra. It doesn't have a fuel gauge, which I personally really like a fuel gauge. I feel like a princess when I have a fuel gauge because it's pleasant. You know, as you're going on for a long ride, you want to know how much fuel you've got, or is it just me? I know that you can go by the range or the miles or whatever, but that seems like maths to me, and I'm not a great lover of maths. Let's turn it on, if I can. I just got to try not to slip, but we'll see how we get on. I can't fucking touch the floor. And then I struggle to get the stand. Okay, we're up. But yeah, you can see, like, for me, I'm 5'5", and I'm on like the very tippy toes, and for road, like, that terrifies me, just because you know, this is a very expensive bike. You know, it's not so much about the weight. You don't feel the weight. You know, right now I don't feel the weight, but you know, especially with leaves on the floor, things like that, I personally feel a lot more comfortable putting both feet down on both sides, but that's just personal preference. Not to say that I can't do one-legged, it's just I prefer not to, if I can get away with it anyway. But yeah, the stand is pretty small and in like quite an awkward place, so when I do try to get it, it is a bit of a pain, but we got there in the end with a lot of practice. Huh? So the rider modes on this bike is rain, road, sport, and then you've got race mode as well. So obviously in, in this weather, I won't be touching sport or race, but I have had it in purely road. So this bike is not keyless, which is great. I actually prefer, as I've said before, I prefer bikes that have a key rather than it being keyless. I like this sort of backstop. Obviously, as you want to duck down or something like that, or as you pull on the accelerator, like my bum kind of slips back, and this just gives a nice bit of support. Overall, like it is a really pretty bike. It's just a shame about them small little. It's mainly the fuel gauge for me. Like I really like a fuel gauge, but this just doesn't have it, which kind of put me off a little bit. But because quite a few of you may know, I'm looking for a new bike next year, and this was a contender. So we'll see.
So yeah, the bars are not actually that wide personally. They're nowhere near as wide as the Rocket or the BMW M1000R. I'm trying to think what other bikes I've ridden that have a wide stance. I think that's pretty much it. With the bars being wider, personally I feel it gives you a bit more control over the bike. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. Your feet aren't too high up on the pegs, they're really comfortable for me. Unlike sitting on, say, like a CBR 1000, I'm sure a lot of you have sat on that at the bike show, and you literally fold up like a pretzel. So that is not comfortable whatsoever. I like the fact you can see the wings, and also overall, like it's quite a wide, chunky tank. And I love a chunky tank, you know, you kind of fit into the bike a bit more, and you can easily access the key, which is brilliant. I'm trying to think for the life of me which bike it was where I really struggled. I think it might have been the Monster SP, but I'm not too sure, don't hold me to that. So yeah, this bike doesn't have cruise control, which is devastating. You've got a little black button down here. This is launch control. You have 3 launches altogether. And then I think you need to have the clutch changed or rebuilt or a service. You can probably understand why.
It's a Ducati. You either like it or you hate it.